Senator, in the past, you've expressed concern about the White House's attempt to use digital tools to trace the pattern of infections, which is important. I think it's information that they need. But they are also relaxing privacy issues to share patient information. What's your biggest worry about this?
Well, of course, all of this information about the health of each individual is very personal, it's very private. It's the most intimate information that anyone can have about any individual in our society. So it's absolutely imperative that we put the strongest possible privacy protections around this as well, so that as this work is being done to trace the disease, that it in no way ultimately compromises the privacy of any individual. And I think that's going to have to be a very strong balance which we construct here. This is a very difficult time for all of us, but we also have to make sure that we maintain these other high values in our society, and privacy is one of them.
But is this just a worry on your part now, or have you seen hints or signs that there is some sort of shenanigans going on?
I know that when the Trump administration is involved in something that allows the technology to compromise the privacy of Americans, that they have not hesitated. It's just part of their DNA. And as we're going forward, we have to make sure that the president, in the use of any of the emergency powers, which he has been granted, does not use any of these technologies in a way that will result in a compromise of American privacy unnecessarily. I'm just wary of this Trump administration. It's been indifferent throughout its entire history to protecting privacy by the use of governmental technologies.
Well, Senator, there's a move to change the number of signatures required to get on the ballot, either that or push back the deadline because of the pandemic. First of all, are you still trying to get all your signatures lined up?
Well, yeah, I'm very confident that I am going to get all of the signatures which I am going to need. But
should the rules be relaxed?
Legislature, I think that the rules should be relaxed. I think there are many candidates out there who are not in the same situation I am in, where I'm very confident I will get the signatures. And I think that the legislature would be wise in finding a way to relax the standards which we have used historically, because we have to basically conduct this election in a way that's consistent with the health goals which we have for the state as well. And I think that the legislature will reach I think a decision that will make it possible to balance both of those issues.
Should we change the way we vote? I mean, should we vote at home by mail or some other way rather than stand in line and either in the primaries coming up or the general in November?
Well, Amy Klobuchar and Senator Juan Wyden of Oregon and I and others, we introduced legislation 4 weeks ago, which calls for robust voting in the United States by mail, and we actually provide funding in that legislation to be given to the states so that they can move in that direction, so that mail becomes a way by which people can vote. They can do so easily, and that it's a robust part of the electoral system. I think we have to move in that direction this year.
Senator, thank you so much. Happy Easter.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate you spending time live with us this morning from Malden. Senator Ed Markey with us live from Malden.